Hello!
It's been a while since I last talked to you all on the channel, and I think it's been about a year since I uploaded that video where I talked about what happened when I developed vocal nodules. So I figured it was time to talk about what's happened since. If you're wondering why I'm wearing this, it's because I want everything about this video to be as different from the first one as possible. What I thought at the time was coming off as genuine and professional, nowadays, to me, comes off as cringy and pretentious. So, this. Also, quite frankly, it's because I want views, and I mean these cards! Speaking of views, I'm a little above 320 subscribers now, so thank you all so much for that. The next upload of a full musical that I was in will be coming at 500 subscribers, and then at 1,000 subscribers, I will be posting nudes. Just kidding. I'll be uploading another musical at 1,000 subs, so something to look forward to. Okay, let's talk nodules! If you missed my first video about this, you can watch it if you like. It'll be in the description below. But I'll warn you, it's overly long. I come off a bit cringy in it, to my opinion. Likely because I was depressed. But I'm not anymore.
Yeah, that's right. Smile for them and lie to them. They don't know the things you're really feeling on the inside.
Alright, so what happened after May of 2020? I was finally scheduled to get my vocal cords looked at in August of 2020, after not having them looked at since January of 2020 when the nodules were discovered. I had continued to speak in that very nasally, sort of soft, forward voice that I was using back then, and I was singing that way too. So I went to the doctor and they looked at my vocal cords, and they discovered nodules had gotten so severe that I needed to have immediate and intensive throat surgery.
Just joking.
I was all clear, good to go, vocal cords totally healed, made a full recovery. Also, kind of interesting, I finally got to see the footage of what my throat looked like in January of 2020 when the nodules were developing. Now, I'm no doctor, but to my eyes, these things were, like, surprisingly swollen. There was one on each vocal cord in the same spot where they would have hit together. They looked pretty big.
You know what they say about nodules, it's not the size, it's how you use them.
Wait. Regardless of that, everything was clear, and with this I felt confident enough that I could start being a little more experimental and reckless with my voice. However, to this day, I have still continued to not touch caffeine, as that is likely the reason this whole thing happened.
Comparison time!
So last video I played comparisons of things that I recorded during the development of the early nodules, and then clips that I'd recorded present day during the healing process. This time I'm going to compare clips that were recorded during the recovery process with present day clips of how things are now. I hate everything that I recorded during the healing process. I used this weak, pubescent, nasally voice. It was so forward in the mask, and like, don't get me wrong, I know that singing that way for as long as I did is likely the reason that my voice healed as well as it did, but those recordings are just so embarrassing for me to listen back, and I can't do anything with them, you know. I don't know. Anyway, here's some comparisons. And you're not here. Let hopes pass, let dreams pass, let them die. And you're not here. Let hopes pass, let dreams pass, let them die. I would go most anywhere to find where I belong. I would go most anywhere to find where I belong. Let your soul take you where you long to abide. Lass dich treiben, lass alles hinter dir. Wow. Don't you know I love you, love you, love you? Yes, I do. Love you, love you, love you. Yes, I do. Don't you know I love you, love you, love you? Yes, I do. Love you, love you, love you. Yes, I do. As you can hear, things are quite different now. They're vastly improved, and if you ask me, they're... So, how did I get to this point? Feeling safe singing without such tense restraint took a lot of getting used to. And I was really excited to start singing more difficult music again. A big example is singing Queen music. Shortly before the whole ordeal with the nodules happened, I had figured out how to sing Queen songs really damn well. To the future, for the dreams of you. I want it all. If you want the truth, look your darkest Brady's burning through your window pane. Baby, now your struggles are in vain, and we'll keep on fighting till the end. I am the one, the only one. I am the God of Kingdom Come. Give me the prize! Oh, give me the prize! Those are my favorite recordings I have ever made, even to this day. So I was really keen to be able to, try doing that again. And it was so frustrating at first. Not only did it take a while for it to become something I didn't fear doing, due to being worried about causing more damage, it also just took a while for my vocal cords to become accustomed to even trying to do it again. I mean, like, physically, technique-wise, placement, I had totally forgotten how to do these things. Relearning it was a process of trial and error. It did eventually start to ease back into my voice. My upper register started to become a bit more assured and expanded a little bit. Prior to all of this, I wouldn't dare try to sing anything above like a B-flat 4. And now I was attempting B's and C's. Didn't always work, but I was attempting them. Here's a few examples of what I recorded in that period. When I'm holding your will, all I hear is your fear. Don't mind girl, I'd have to forget her. Rather baby, a new carburetor. Cause don't turn back, they just fall with friends now. So now I'd like to quickly touch on, what's back to normal and what's different from before the damage versus nowadays. One of the main things that's pretty much gone back to exactly how it was before is how I sing musical theater material. It's pretty much totally back to the way it was. The timbre, the strength, the comfort of it, all of that's returned. Another thing that I'm really grateful to have back is the ability to sing in a variety of different styles, using different techniques and timbres again. I can sing pop material, I can use a roughness and a raspiness to sing rocky material without my voice being hurt at all. It's actually interesting to note, I don't think I've actually legitimately lost my voice since January of 2020 when I got the diagnosis. Those are some of the big things that have come back from before the damage. Oh, actually, something kind of interesting. During the healing process, I was really keen on working on my falsetto. Prior to the damage, I never really had much of a falsetto. It was one of those things that was kind of there, but it was better if I didn't use it because it was really weak. So during the healing process, I really focused on figuring out how to use that. And for a period, I actually was able to get a pretty strong falsetto. So sad, it's a sad, sad situation. What have I gotta do? Sorry seems to be the hardest one. But once things settled in and I started to focus on singing more intense music again, I stopped working on that, and now it's pretty much gone back to the way it was prior to the damage. So that got better and then got back to the way it was before. I do still have a falsetto, and I can use it for a few things, but for the most part I avoid using it because it's too frustrating, like singing this. Well, this is what I should have said. has unfortunately become this.
And this is what I should have said.
And Greg, if you're watching this, you're just gonna have to deal with that.
I wanna kiss the bride.
Now let's talk about what's changed in both the positive and the negative sense. In terms of, I guess, negative changes, my vocal range was slightly impacted by this. In the months before the damage began, I was able to access more of my voice than I've ever been able to access in the past, across the board. Total ease, hitting intense high notes in the tenor range. Nowadays, I tend to cap out at about a B-flat 4. That's not to say that I haven't been able to sing higher than that. It absolutely can and has happened on several occasions.
And tell me what you think of me. Did you mean to die like that? Was that a mistake? Or did you know your messy death would be?
But the instances of me being able to do these things usually come under a certain set of circumstances. Like, sometimes it's just a random one-off fluke of a day where I can randomly do this stuff. Or, like in some of those recordings, they took multiple takes. Now, all that being said, there's been positive changes as well. My timbre has darkened a bit. Some of that is intentional and by choice when singing specific genres, but I found overall that when I darken the tone of my voice, everything comes out like 100% easier, and to my ears, I think it's better and stronger and more exciting. I've also been working on figuring out how to have a strong, healthy belt without hurting my voice, which is something I didn't really do prior to the damage, and that's been going excellently.
Burn down the mission if we're gonna stay alive. Burn down the mission, oh, if we're gonna stay alive. Burn down the mission, burn down to stay alive. Burn down the mission, Lord, if we're gonna stay alive. But I ain't seen nothing like him in any amusement hall. That deaf, dumb, and blind kid sure plays mean pinball. But I ain't seen nothing like him in any amusement hall. Deaf, dumb, and blind kid sure plays a mean pinball. I will carry hell to your doorstep. I will carry hell to your doorstep. No matter how hard you pray, it's a place without any mercy. No matter how hard you pray, it's a place without any mercy.
However, the biggest and most important change for me, personally, is that my vocal stamina is through the roof, and I have a newfound confidence in myself as a singer that I have never had before. You know, I'll be entirely honest, I never had much confidence in myself as a singer in terms of being able to achieve it on stage in front of people. And that has, truthfully, negatively impacted pretty much every onstage role I ever played. I was constantly in fear of losing my voice, intense, constant anxiety before going on stage. I never believed I was going to be able to go out on stage and sing what I needed to sing without screwing it up royally somehow. But you know, having not lost my voice since January 2020, and nowadays, you know, I'm belting and singing and pushing my voice constantly every day, doing stuff that before would have weakened my voice or harmed it. Nowadays, it just stays strong no matter what. I have not had any doubts in my instrument in such a long time. And like, I am stoked. I am stoked to get back on stage because I know that whatever it is, I am going to crush whatever I do next. Okay, let's wrap up. So, I do miss a few things from before all this happened. That complete ease I obtained in the ridiculous tenor register right before the damage happened, that is greatly missed. But overall, again, this is the most confident and excited I've been by my voice in a very long time, and all things considered, I'd say I am the happiest and most content with my voice that I've ever been as a result of that confidence. So basically, if you're going through what I went through, you got an early nodule diagnosis, you're going through vocal therapy, resting your voice, and you're not sure if it's going to get better, it gets so much better when you come out of this. Trust me. Alright, so final words.
Caffeine brain is the devil, and if it were a person, I'd punch it in the face for what it did to my tender, sensitive, heavenly vocal cords.
Seriously, guys, watch out for that stuff. If you got acid reflux, it's gonna be bad news for your voice at some point, okay? Alright, that's it for me today. Thank you all for watching, and if you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe! And I'll have more music for you soon.
See you there!